Hello everybody, it is TDZ back with another video, and today I have better headphones, so the quality of the video should be a lot better, because I know my past videos or my recent videos have not been very good quality wise. But anyway, in today's video I have always wanted to know what it's like to be in the Pokemon anime, so in today's video that's kind of what we'll be exploring. So in this video it will be the story of me if I was in the anime, but it's only going to be in small parts. So basically, let me talk about a few things before we get right into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is that in this video it will be considered episode 1, but there will be like a couple different stories in each episode, if you know what I'm saying. So for any of you who ever watched the Pokemon anime, some of them are like really, like some of the episodes are like really short, or in explaining wise. So I'll just fit like however many I can into a video that's like under 15 minutes, you know, something like that. The next thing I want to talk about is this will technically be in the Pokemon universe. So this would take place all right after Pokemon Journeys. Now, I have sort of watched Pokemon Horizons, because for those of you guys who don't know, I am not a sub watcher, so I only watch the dub. So I've only seen the 16 episodes of Pokemon Horizons, and I still don't know where it takes place, like before, after, or anything like that. So this will just take place after Pokemon Journeys. Now, although this is taking place after Pokemon Journeys, and I really don't know where in between with Pokemon Horizons, it will still work as Pokemon Horizons. So when picking a starter, you get the choice between any of the regional starters. But even if you're just in Kanto or Johto, you can still pick a starter from a different region, just to, you know, give more options, make things more interesting, and stuff like that. And also, this particular story will start in Kanto, so keep that in mind. Also, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is the characters that you'll see, at least some of them, are based off of real life characters, or real life people for me. So some of the people you see in here will be based off people I know in real life. So now knowing all of this, let's get right into the video. So the Pokemon Adventures of Zay starts with Zay arriving at the Pokemon Professor's lab, but Joe was a trainer that was there before him and gets to pick first. After thinking for a while, Joe decides to go with Squirtle. So now that Joe has selected his Pokemon, it's time for Zay to pick, and Zay decides to randomly pick out of all of the starters and ends up grabbing the Pokeball of a Chimchar, who is really eager for battle. Now that Zay and Joe have their first Pokemon, Professor Oak suggests they have a battle, and that's exactly what they do. Chimchar starts the battle by rushing in forward with a scratch, but Squirtle dodges and fires a water gun at point blank range, which is a critical hit to a fire type, and Zay now realizes that he has to change his strategy. So he orders Chimchar to just stay perfectly still and not to move until he says so. So Joe, now realizing that Zay changed up his strategy, tells Squirtle to rush in forward with a tackle. But Zay was anticipating this, so he told Chimchar to dodge at the right time and let off a flurry of scratches, which did major damage. At this point, both Pokemon were in critical condition, and one move could decide the entire match. Knowing this, Joe decided to have Squirtle do the exact same thing as before, and it played out the same until Chimchar dodged, because then Squirtle turned towards Chimchar and let out a water gun at point blank range again. And after everything was over, Chimchar was lying on the ground unconscious, so Joe was the winner of the battle. After his loss, Zay was feeling a little defeated, but Professor Oak cheered him up by saying he did pretty good against the type disadvantage, but then also giving congratulations to Joe. Then after that, he informs both of them of the gym challenge, where they can take on gym leaders and eventually compete in the Indigo League. And Joe and Zay both decide that they'll travel together, considering they both have the same goal now. Before the boys leave, Professor Oak interrupts them one more time and asks them if they could take Rosa. The boys just noticed the girl that was standing next to Professor Oak, and then Professor Oak goes on to explain that she came from the Unova region, being a researcher for Professor Oak, and she's supposed to get research and data on Pokemon, and he thinks the best way for her to do that is by being out in the field, and traveling with them would be a good way to do that. So with the boys now understanding why, they both agree, and the three trainers set off on their journey. The second episode starts with the three trainers walking down a route. Joe then proposes a challenge, which Zay is immediately interested in. Joe says they should all go out and catch a Pokemon to see which one is the coolest, and Zay and Rosa quickly accept. Future TDZ here, and I just wanted to let you guys know that since this is the Pokemon Adventures of Zay, I'll only be focusing on Zay's adventure. So the other two trainers will still be doing the same thing, but we're not going to focus on them and more focus on Zay. Okay, anyway, let's get back to the video. Zay and Chimchar look around for a moment before finally finding a sparrow. Zay and Chimchar try to sneak up on it, but they're easily spotted and it flies away. Zay was agitated that he couldn't catch the sparrow, but then a Pidgey appears. After observing it for a moment, the Pidgey looked like it was ready for a battle, so Chimchar gave him one, and kinda wiped the floor with him. So Zay caught it and added it to his team. After reuniting with the others, Zay found out that Joe caught a Weedle because it could evolve into a Beedrill, and Rosa didn't catch anything, so they decided to make Zay the winner since he caught a Pidgey, which was a flying type and stronger than Weedle. Episode 3 starts with the three trainers continuing down the route when they run into a trainer who also seemed to have started his journey recently. The trainer said his name was Jackson and said he's been looking for a challenge. Zay and Joe both want to battle him, so they do rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to do it. And Zay ended up winning, so now it's time for the battle to begin. They agreed it would be a 2-on-2 battle, and they both sent out their first Pokemon, which for Zay it was Chimchar, and for Jackson it was Toxel. Zay didn't recognize the Pokemon and asked him where he'd get it from, and he told them that he's originally from the Galar region, where Toxel is a normal Pokemon there. This only fires Zay up more, but Zay isn't excited for long, because Toxel makes quick work of Chimchar, not even giving him a chance to attack, and this makes Zay furious as he sends out his second Pokemon, being Pidgey. Jackson decided to bring Toxel back and send out his Spearow. It was an aerial battle between Gusts and Tackles, but Pidgey was just not strong enough and was taken down by Spearow, meaning Zay lost the battle without even taking down one of Jackson's Pokemon. After the battle was over, Joe was quick to ask for one himself, but Jackson said that Zay's performance was pathetic, and if his was pathetic, then his must be as well, and quickly left without saying anything else. As Jackson left, Zay and Joe stood there in anger, thinking about the scene that just played out in front of them, and Zay realized that he has a long way to go before he can beat people like him, and also realized that he has two rivals that he has to surpass, Joe and Jackson. And with that, the first episode of Pokemon Adventures of Zay comes to a close. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and also predictions for what you guys think will happen in future episodes. I also want to know what you guys think these characters' final teams will be, so tell me who you think they're going to catch. But if you guys want to find out what happens next time, you'll just have to wait for the next episode of the Pokemon Adventures of Zay. Thanks for watching.